Aloha, friends and neighbors. Raleigh Frost here, Code Astrologer. We're going to do program 1110 and go through the second week of March in the sky mirror. Ho, 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 ho. You guys are sitting on a Jupiter station. Yeah, Jupiter station Thursday on the 9th. The moon went by it, last Tuesday, Wednesday, just a couple days ago. I bet you're still laughing. And there's more to come. The great benefic Jupiter is stopping. I learned long ago that the influence is like a bell-shaped curve. Comes up and peaks out on the 9th, but it lasts like 20 days after, starts 20 days earlier. Everybody gets all optimistic when that happens. When I did my financial studies, I learned that when Jupiter stations, price of gold goes down because everybody's so optimistic. They sell their gold to go do new things. Anyway, you're on a Jupiter time. You're sitting there on the Thursday night show. Jupiter is raging as much as he can rage. There he is. It's a 23 Scorpio. Trines the sun in a few days. And in fact, up ahead of you, there's a new moon in Pisces on next Friday. Yeah, a week from tomorrow. There's a new moon in Pisces that trines Jupiter, which gives you a whole month of Jupiter optimism, laughing, good humor. I was trying to figure out how I could help you guys laugh it up a little bit and brainstorming, who the heck is Jupiter anyway? Benjamin Franklin, born on my birthday. It's very Jupiter character, yeah? So we're going to do some Benjamin Franklin. After the sky mirror, Ben can make you laugh. See that little book he's got there? Yeah, that's his almanac. He did that almanac for 26 years. Here's a copy of one. It's all about astrology. Nobody believed me, 10, 20 years ago when I said Ben was an accomplished astrologer. And his almanac is all about astrology. Look at that. A couple days ago, I discovered the Magi Society. I'm going to turn you on to them too. And they're the first ones that really agreed with me about Ben Franklin. One hell of an astrologer, they said. So let's do the sky mirror. Then we're going to get into Ben Franklin's work a bit, okay? So you folks are still under the influence of the 27 Aquarius new moon that opposed Trump's rising sign. I call it the anti-Trump new moon. Well, what's coming up next Friday, not the one tomorrow for you, but the one afterwards, the 27 Pisces new moon, kind of takes you out of that month when everybody opposes, not my President Trump. Anyway, here's the pattern. Here's the way the chart looks for your coming week. We're going to run the moon around the edge, and as it makes angles to these various planets, these persons, these actors on the stage, it generates the mood of the times. Let's check it out, see what's going on here. If you're on a Thursday show, well, it's not such a hot time. Here's Thursday, goes from here to here. And in the middle of it, confusion, delusion. The moon squares Neptune. Uh-oh. Late, midnight, the moon squares the sun. Didn't get a thing done Thursday, did you? On the 8th. But don't worry, Jupiter stops on the 9th. And he peaks out in his power of optimism and laughing and expansion. Lots of wisdom flying around. He's sextiling Pluto, discovery at the same time. And after next Friday, there'll be a new moon helping Jupiter out. A whole month of optimism. Good lawyers. Hopefully that's what Jupiter is. Friday, the moon's still in Sagittarius, and it's coming up on the Mars thing. Now Mars, at 25 Sag, is trining Uranus. And so Mars can be very heroic, and he can especially fix electronics and motors. And he's Mr. Fix-It, huh? So Friday is a good time for you to get out there and get your hands dirty. You know, especially if it's electrical or motors or things that go around. Be big-time sports on TV you watch Friday night, March 9th. On Saturday, the 10th, the moon shifts into Capricorn. All the vibes change. In the morning, here's a square to Venus and Mercury. There's no sweets Saturday morning. Can't communicate. As you go through the day, you're coming up on Saturn in the afternoon. And it feels cold and old, and you're a little depressed. Don't worry, Jupiter is stationing, so the depression is only small compared to the manic and the optimism of Jupiter. But you'll go through it Saturday night, so Saturday afternoon. Just get organized. That's the way to use old Saturn. Get organized. If you do, Sunday morning, here's the moon sextile Neptune, and you'll have inspiration. Yeah. Good time for church. Good time for religion. Good time for even corporate Christianity. When you read the King James, every time you read heavens, substitute sky. That's the Aramaic. That's the real word. So when Jesus says, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven," he's saying, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in the sky." Remember, he was trained in astrology. So Sunday morning, good time. Good time for sensitivity and compassion, religion of all sorts. The moon goes by Pluto in the afternoon and around dinner time, and sextiles Jupiter, and there will be discovery. Looks like the Jupiter thing comes in kind of late. See the little tick mark here? Well, these lines represent 2 a.m. in the morning. So this is about midnight. You'll get your, aha, now I see it clear. Jupiter is likely to keep you up late Sunday. You'll be busy and optimistic and laughing. And so if you go to church Sunday morning, party out Sunday night. Benjamin Franklin used to party a lot. He had meetings, in the local pub. And the guys he liked were working men. Yeah, carpenters and bricklayers and people who worked with their hands, sit around and drink beer with Ben. Ben said, "Beer proves God loves you and wants you to be happy." Ha 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 ha. Okay, Monday morning, about the time you're getting up and trying to go to work, the moon squares Uranus. Technical problems, glitches of all sorts. In the middle of the day, before lunch, the moon shifts into Aquarius. The vibes change again. Here Tuesday morning, the moon sextiles Venus and Mercury. There's sweets, there's lovingness, there's soft talk. It's very nice Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon, though, the moon goes by the south node, little upside down horseshoes. People say, "I need help, I need help." Wednesday, the moon's still in Aquarius, squaring Jupiter in the morning. All the wise lawyers turn into clowns and clown around too much. Too much laughter, too much clowning. In the afternoon, late, around dinner time, the moon sextiles Uranus. Here comes the technical wizards. Astrology, science, common sense, brotherhood. That's what it's about. The moon sextiles Mars. They're brothers out doing humanitarian stuff Wednesday night. Get all the sports guys together and go pass out dollar bills and stuff to homeless people. Do some work to help the homeless. Wednesday. Thursday, moon goes into Pisces. Vibes change again. As you go through Thursday, you're going towards Neptune. Neptune actually happens. The moon goes by Neptune, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, the 16th. confusion, some delusion. You know, you could lose things Friday morning. Play the music too loud. But you're going towards the nice new moon, which really happens Saturday morning at 26 Pisces. And son of a gun, it trines Jupiter at 23 Scorpio. So it'll kick Jupiter in wisdom and optimism and laughing, and will happen for a whole month due to this new moon. Take you out of that month of hating, you know, the president who does unspeakable things to our environment and wildlife and the earth. So there is this square to Mars. You're angry Saturday morning around breakfast. Impatience and angriness rules. You know, just about the same time you're getting the new moon. So the optimism is good, the laughing is good, you know, but the anger won't get you nowhere. That's the Mars square. Let's see, first comes the Jupiter trine. That's probably, let's see, this is 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, you'll get the optimism of Jupiter. Then 2 hours later, you'll feel impatient and angry a bit when the square to Mars comes up Saturday. Moon shifts into Aries just before lunch on Saturday. Everything changes again. You're going into the Venus zone on Sunday. Here the moon goes by Venus and Mercury. And the kids are happy. There's lots of loving conversation and words. It's sexy. It's beautiful. Venus is in Aries. She wants to go play sports. Very nice. Very sweet. You don't have any trouble till you get to late Sunday. There's a Pluto square. Eek, a bug. This is not a drill. All that kind of stuff comes up. Is that a shark I see out there? Nah, come on. This is around midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning, Monday. You'll sleep through it. What the heck? Jupiter is in charge. Hooray for Jupiter, the great benefic. Okay, I got in mind to give you a whole bunch of Ben's aphorisms and quaint sayings and humorous bits. But before I do, I want to turn you on to the Magi Society. It's not very often I recommend an astrologer or astrology group to you. But I've been pretty much alone for 20 years declaring Ben Franklin was a fine astrologer. Yes, people thought that was nutty. Well, finally, I found somebody that knows about Ben Franklin, and it's a group of people that call themselves the Magi Society. And I recommend them to you. Check them out. Okay, here's their website, Magi Society. Write it down. Now, these guys are pretty well organized, and they do a lot of financial stuff. And look at that. Benjamin Franklin was the world's greatest astrologer. Anyway, they do education, too. And like the first 14 chapters of their Learn Astrology book, you can download it free. Yeah, it's impressive. Okay, let me read you some of the Ben Franklin stuff. There's a lot about Benjamin Franklin that history books do not tell us. He had many great virtues, humanitarian, extraordinary. He was the first signer of the Declaration of Independence to free his slaves. Okay, here's a Raleigh Frost story. Ben hated slavery, and when they did the Declaration of Independence and these other things, he always said, you guys screwed up. You should have outlawed slavery then, but they didn't. Ben Franklin was so irritating to Congress that Congress eventually made a law that said you couldn't talk about slavery in Congress. It was pointed right at Ben Franklin. So here they made a law stopping Ben from chastising them about not handling the slavery issue. So what happened is Ben got to be kind of old. He died at 84. It's probably when I'll leave too. But a month before he died, pretty much on his birthday, January 16, 17, Ben got fed up. He marched into Congress and he gave him a lecture for all day on slavery. He didn't give a damn about the law. He just went in there and told them where it's at. And then he went home, and exactly a month later he died. Benjamin Franklin. Okay, here's more. Let's look at his astrologer side. He started publishing Poor Richard at age 27 and continued to publish it for 26 years. Yeah. I got 20 years in on my TV show now. I'm trying to get to 26 years. The Magi Society recently obtained a complete copy of all 26 issues of Ben Franklin's Poor Richard Almanac. We have every page of every issue. Here they show you. They give you a cover story. Now, you know, this Age of Pisces stuff, they've covered it up, that Ben was a very fine astrologer. And the book I have that has his funny sayings has no astrology in it. When you look at the almanac, it's all about astrology. He taught America astrology. Now look at this stuff. It tells you here's the conjunction of Mercury and the Sun. Here's opposition to Jupiter. Here's... So he goes on and on. He gives you some weather. When Jupiter hits, you get rain. They explain some of this here. The planetary aspects, how he predicted weather. Poor Richard's Almanac. Gave you an ephemeris for the known planets for the entire month. He didn't have computers, not even a calculator. It must have taken Ben months to make the calculations because he was very precise. He gave you the eclipses exactly. To calculate an eclipse is no small thing. But he did it. He was a very good astrologer. And the Magi Society, you know, they're out there. I got agreement finally. I had astrologers laugh when I told them Ben Franklin was a fine astrologer. So the Magi Society believes Ben used his astrology to select the exact day and time for both signing the Declaration of Independence and the ratification of the Constitution, and other dozens of other crucial things in American democracy. So they give you the chart. They know that Ben did not know where Uranus and Neptune were, but they show you what he was doing and how he did it. Very impressive, these guys. Now, the Magi Society has a lot of services. And, just go to the internet, Google Magi, M-A-G-I, and you'll get their website. And take advantage. Like, here's this thing about a free download of the first 14 chapters of our third book. These guys are into money. But they're not too expensive. You can join $80 for the year and you get all their benefits. They got 5,000 members in 34 countries. They got software. It's a valuable benefit to be a member of the Magi Society. And I'm totally stoked. I sent them an email and said, check out my show. I'm a Ben Franklin reincarnation. So I hope to make friends of these guys, and I hope that you will too. And like I say, most astrologers in the Western world, 90% of them don't do real astrology. So when I find a good one, a good bunch, I want to let you know. And the Magi Society is one of those good ones. And I found like 5 or 6 websites that claim Ben was born at 10:30. These guys are Vedics. I don't recommend Vedic astrology to you, but they got him down for 10:30, and that's kind of interesting to me. The Magi Society is best. They didn't give you time. Another group said he wasn't born so much at 10:30 as he was born at 3:30. So we're not sure what the rising sign is, but sun was in Capricorn. America's first astrologer. That's what I think he is. And so I'll work on it a little bit. I'd like to find out what his rising sign was. I think that would be worthwhile. But you never know. He didn't tell anybody what his rising sign was. But now there's a few more astrologers climbing on the bandwagon, saying, yeah, Ben Franklin was an astrologer. What do you think of that? A founding father was a good astrologer, an excellent astrologer. I better read this one. July 1734. I'm going through Ben's almanacs looking for things about lawyers. Because lawyers are Jupiter, huh? Here's this one for July. A lawyer being sick and extreme ill was moved by his friends to make his will, which soon he did. Gave all the wealth he had to frantic persons, lunatic and mad, and to his friends this reason did reveal, that they might see with equity he'd deal. From madman's hands I did my wealth receive, therefore that wealth to madman's hands I leave. The lawyer made all his money from crazy people, so he left his money to crazies. Here's one of my favorites. The benefit of going to law. 2 beggars traveling along, one blind, the other lame, picked up an oyster on the way, to which they both laid claim. The matter rose so high that they resolved to go to law, as often richer fools have done, who quarrel for a straw. A lawyer took it straight in hand, who knew his business was to mind nor one nor t'other side, but make the best of the cause. As always in the laws the case, So he his judgment gave, and lawyer-like he thus resolved, which each of them should have, blind plaintiff, lame defendant share, the friendly law's impartial care. A shell for him, a shell for thee, the middle is the lawyer's fee. This one's funny. A countryman between two lawyers is like a fish between two cats. Here Ben wrote about a sign he saw on courts. Honest men often go to law for their right, when wise men would sit down with the wrong, supposing the first loss least. In some countries, the course of the courts is so tedious and the expense so high that the remedy justice is worse than injustice, the disease. In my travels, I once saw a sign called The Two Men at Law. One of them was painted on one side in a melancholy posture, all in rags, with this scroll, I have lost my cause. The other was drawn capering with joy on the other side, with these words, I have gained my suit, but he was stark naked. Here's another one about courts and going to court. He that by injury is grieved and goes to law to be relieved is sillier than a sottish choose, who, when a thief has robbed his house, applies himself to cunning men to help him to his goods again, when all he can expect to gain is but to squander more in vain. For lawyers, lest the bare defendant and plaintive dog should make an end on it, to stave and tail with writs of error, reverse of judgment and demurrer, to let them breathe a while, and then cry whoop, and set them on again, until, with subtle cobweb cheats, they're catched in knotted law like nets, in which, when once they are entangled, the more they stir, the more they're tangled. For while their purses can dispute, there's no end of the immortal suit. Hope you enjoyed a little Ben Franklin. Go to my website, skymareastrology.com/TV to see the show again. Or you can just YouTube Astrology with Rollin Frost. Mahalo and aloha.